Most of my perspective on central vacuum systems and equipment, the power units, the hoses and attachments, comes from servicing them. I get to see them when they're however many years old and when there's something wrong with them. Um, the beam equipment I have found to be sometimes better and sometimes not so good over the years. And the Beam Q is, for the last few years, Beam's premium offering for a central vacuum attachment set. And I bought one myself to put it through its paces to confirm or deny my feelings from having seen them in customers' homes. And after putting quite a few miles on this, here is my opinion of it. Starting with the hose, Beam buys the hose carcass from Plastiflex, which makes almost every central vac hose in the business today. You can see from the wall end that it's a Plastiflex hose. Beam specifies a little interesting profile on this hose. It's the lighter gray material. See the darker gray band that runs around the spirals? I don't know why they do that. It doesn't seem like this hose lasts any longer or is any more flexible. I've seen these fail as often as any other hose. What Beam does is they put their own hose handle on here, and there's some pros and cons. It's comfortable to hold in the hand. The strain relief is good. This having almost a full 90-degree bend means that when the wand is in the upright position, the hose doesn't come out at a strong angle. This does preserve the life of the hose up at the strain relief. But I have found that the swivel can get lint trapped in the contacts, and the switch can be less than reliable. And also the switch itself, this plate pops off very easily, and then the switch actuator will fall out, and it's just held together with snaps, no screws, and I find that leaves a little bit to be desired. The contacts have been reliable in here. I haven't seen any problems with arcing, which sometimes you see with a traditional setup where the hose has just a metal tip and then the contacts are part of a molded contact block like a regular Plastiflex hose. The hose cover that Beam includes is the padded zippered type. It's easier to install, but I find it to be a little bit too bulky for my liking, and I prefer the form-fitting type that you apply to the hose with a tube. So that's the hose. The bare floor tool is natural bristle, 14 inches wide. It has wheels at both ends. There's nothing wrong with this that I can see. The castle cut brush is one design with these little openings here. My installer refers to these as pumpkin teeth, which is amusing. I think I kind of like the design better where there's a full width cutout in the brush because it passes debris through it more readily. So that's that. The latching system on this interacts with the wand, and this is just it's a female connection. The wand tip has a male end that fits into here, and this little latch engages with a slot on the wand. There it is. The telescoping wand is nice. It's actually not very expensive to replace, which is a good thing. It hasn't been unreliable, but it hasn't been exceedingly reliable. I've had a few of these where the ratchet mechanism fails after a period of time, and then the wand won't stay locked. But other than that, the cord is integrated into the wand. It's been an acceptable performer. It does allow you to adjust the height of the wand from either the top or the bottom. Moving this lever also moves that one down there, which is kind of good thinking on the designer's part. The tool connection is not standard. They've given you this oval connection, which means that regular central vac attachments will not fit on here, but they do provide an adapter. So if you have your own attachments that you want to use, you can. And that fits either on the hose handle or on the end of the wand, but it doesn't conduct electricity. So the only power head that you can use is the Beam Q power head. Now the same tool connection is available in the Solaire power head also, and that's more like the Beam older power head, but this one is more common. And really the biggest issues I have with this tool set are with this power head. For being the premium offering, I think it cleans acceptably well, but it is not durable. And I'm going to point out some of the weak points in the design. First and foremost is the elbow. Occasionally you will see where this release, which allows you to pull the wand out, will fail, and then the wand won't lock in. It is very common to see this handle release broken, and that has gone bad on this one, so that instead of locking, it just falls down, and you have to replace the whole neck to cure that. And it's not an easy repair job. You have to take almost everything out of here to fix that. Even when this is locking and works properly, it's got quite a bit of wobble to it. It's a flimsy feeling kind of connection. And for a $500 or $600 tool set that's going into most likely a high-end home, I don't think that's really acceptable. And then the other thing, the motor in this is just an off-the-shelf motor, not particularly long-lived, but these don't fail particularly often either. I haven't replaced a motor in one of these yet. The belt is a poly V-belt design, protected by an overload protection circuitry, which means that the belts don't really break often or at all. But the brush roll is a wood brush roll with chevron bristles going right into the wood body of the brush roll. The bristles wear down however long it takes them to wear down, but the bearings are just a ball bearing on a steel shaft pressed into the wood, and then a plastic cap fitted onto the end of the bearing. And this design is very susceptible to hair and thread working its way into the bearing, binding up between the brush roll and the cap, and causing this not to spin freely. If you go through belts regularly on a power head like this, and you're able to take this brush roll and it's very, very tight to move, that's your sign that the brush roll is shot and needs to be replaced. There's not really a good way of opening those bearings up and servicing them, and I've just not been impressed with that. Sure, these issues are all things that only crop up after a couple years of service. You'll get out of the warranty period usually, but when competitive products are offering you a 10, 15, 20-year life expectancy, for this to have half, a third, maybe even less for the same price, just isn't something that I can approve of. So those are the bad points about this power head. It does have a toe touch control, carpet height adjustment, and LED headlights, so you won't ever have to change the headlight bulb out, which will save you a little time for changing out all the other stuff that's going to break. I forgot to mention on the hose handle, one really nice thing that I've grown to love is that the tools are in the handle. You have a crevice tool here and a dusting brush. Not especially high quality, but they get the job done, and they're right there. They don't take up any space, but they do fall out from time to time when you're maneuvering around furniture. This can catch and very easily pull out, and then it's laying on the floor in the room you just vacuumed. But it's better than having them in the closet, because then you use them. So anyway, all in all, I think the designers went to a lot of effort to make this kit unique, but I think that the engineers went maybe a little too far in cheapening it, and those are the pros and the cons as I see them. Thank you for watching.